furniture company Wayfair is laying off 350 employees.
Breaking this noon, Amazon employees are walking off the job right now in Seattle. You can take a look at your screen there for this live look above corporate headquarters in South Lake Union. The workers are upset over recent layoffs and a return to office mandate.
Perhaps the biggest nightmare is the looming new industrial revolution.
The erosion of the middle class, already one of America's most serious problems, could get much worse with AI if we ignore it.
The job market in America is in full-on crisis mode. Thousands of Americans have lost their jobs and many are projected to follow. From tech giants to retail, no industry is safe. Millions will lose their jobs, and here's why. For decades, the American job market has enjoyed growth and stability, providing opportunities for millions of Americans to make an honest living. But recently, that hasn't been the case. The job landscape has changed dramatically in a few months, and things might only get worse. Americans are beginning to panic as millions are struggling with job losses. In the tech industry alone, more than 130,000 people have been laid off this year. These include layoffs from tech giants like Tesla, Google, and Amazon. The reasons for the unprecedented rate of job losses across various industries can be linked to various causes: automation, outsourcing of jobs, economic policies, bankruptcy, and even the emergence of artificial intelligence. Yes, that's right, you might be getting replaced by ChatGPT, as a lot of companies are now looking to the use of artificial intelligence as a way to cut down employee costs. The robot takeover might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but it is very real. A few years ago, employees would help you check out your groceries at your favorite store. Now they've been replaced by automated checkout machines. But the problem doesn't just end at the jobs lost, but also extends to jobs created. The United States added just 12,000 jobs in October, which isn't a lot. Analysis shows that in order to get the unemployment rate to the level it was before the pandemic, the US would have to create over 110,000 jobs a month. Compare that to the meager number of jobs created in October and you see we are having a job crisis. As more and more workers are laid off and unemployment continues to rise, available jobs can't keep up with the demand for sustainable employment. This might be good for employers looking to keep labor costs down, but the situation is a nightmare for workers. The lack of jobs means those competing for employment will be forced to work for low wages. Just look at the construction industry. For years, the industry has been heavily reliant on undocumented workers and immigrants who are willing to work for long hours for low wages. And as a result, American-born workers have found it increasingly difficult to compete for these jobs. And the trend of layoffs in the US is not confined to any one sector. Workers in all sectors are feeling the tight squeeze as the threat of unemployment hangs over their heads. In the tech industry, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, IBM, Intel, eBay, Cisco, BlackBerry, and so many others have had massive layoffs this year, with many more still to come. Reports indicate that Amazon, the global e-commerce giant, plans to cut approximately 14,000 managerial positions by early 2025. And Intel laid off thousands of employees in July and August in a bid to cut costs and address market share losses. In the financial industry, PayPal Holdings plans to cut about 2,500 jobs, or roughly 9% of its global workforce this year. And Citigroup plans to reduce its number of employees by 20,000 people in the next 2 years. They've already announced plans to lay off 716 workers in New York towards that target. Goldman Sachs has also conducted multiple rounds of layoffs this year, eliminating positions in investment banking, asset management, and consumer banking divisions due to rising interest rates. In the consumer and retail industry, one of the world's largest retailers, Walmart, plans to cut hundreds of jobs at its headquarters and relocate most of its US and Canada-based remote workforce to just 3 offices. The department store chain Macy's is also cutting 2,350 jobs and will be closing 5 stores. And Wayfair plans to lay off 1,650 employees, which equates to about 13% of its workforce. And in the healthcare industry, Novavax will be laying off about 12% of its workforce this year, and CVS Health will be laying off 2,900 employees in 2024 as part of its cost-saving initiative as it faces ongoing business challenges. In the restaurant and fast food industry, many famous names like Red Lobster, Subway, Wendy's, McDonald's, Applebee's, and so many others have been forced to close stores and lay off thousands of workers as these companies face various challenges. In California alone, over 9,000 jobs were lost and many stores were closed after the state minimum wage was increased. As you can see, no one is safe from the threat of unemployment, as millions of workers in America are starting to panic and wonder if they will survive this wave of layoffs in the country. But what are the factors that are responsible for these mass layoffs? One of the causes of this wave of job loss is the pandemic hiring phenomenon. While the pandemic might have been bad for most businesses, a few businesses, like those in the tech industry, actually experienced significant growth. Of course, these tech corporations took full advantage of the pandemic and went all in on a hiring spree. Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google hired tens of thousands of new employees. Now fast forward to the present, as the economy has started to balance out and these companies are now overstaffed with more employees than they need. The result, as you can imagine, is massive layoffs that result in thousands of workers losing their jobs. Another reason for the trend of mass layoffs is inflation and the spike in interest rates. The increase in interest rates in the country led to a direct increase in the cost of borrowing and servicing debt. Many companies were forced to scale back on their growth investments and hiring to divert funds into covering debt obligations and payouts. A heavy blow for companies that borrowed heavily during a decade of near-zero interest rates and abundant capital. The result? Of course, these companies will have to cut costs somehow, leading to inevitable layoffs. The automation of various roles in the job market has also had a significant effect on the unemployment rate in the country. A study by McKinsey & Company shows that an estimated 45 million people, around a quarter of the American workforce, will lose their jobs to automation by 2030, making it the single greatest threat to the American labor market today. Entire industries are already feeling the impact of automation. Cashiers and customer service employees are being replaced by automated self-service machines, and factory and assembly workers are being replaced by assembly robots. Data analysis and entry, bookkeeping, food preparation, moving and delivering goods, robots are steadily replacing humans in the workforce. And as technology continues to improve, more and more jobs are increasingly at risk of becoming fully automated, resulting in even more job losses. The emergence of AI is already transforming various sectors that typically provide stable employment for millions of Americans, and some jobs are fast becoming obsolete. IBM recently cut 3,900 jobs in its marketing and communications division and frozen hires for roles that could be replaced by AI. This is just one example of the shift to AI, a shift that will only lead to more layoffs. What employer wouldn't choose cheaper, more efficient labor? The gig economy is another factor that contributes to the unstable labor market. Despite the advantages that come with Uber, Lyft, and other gig economy jobs, it also poses many challenges to workers. Gig workers have no guarantee of job continuity and fluctuating incomes, which can easily lead to financial instability. All it would take is an illness or a market downturn. Gig workers also lack legal protection and benefits like health insurance, retirement plans, paid leave, and even unemployment benefits, all of which traditional employees benefit from. The gig economy disrupts the traditional job industry. Not only do gig workers typically have multiple gigs or jobs, which reduces the number of available jobs for those seeking employment, but more and more full-time workers are being forced to join the gig economy to adapt to the changes in the labor market, as employers are now delegating full-time jobs to gigs. The result, not only are these workers now facing less legal protection, but the migration to gig work trend also contributes to the job loss rate. Outsourcing and offshoring are also factors that are pushing the massive job loss trend. Globalization has made it easy for companies to outsource jobs to foreign countries with cheaper labor costs. The American workforce has weakened in recent years, and companies are increasingly outsourcing jobs to talent in Latin America, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Southeast Asia, where they can hire skilled workers at a fraction of the cost. As you can imagine, this has put a serious dent in the job market. Economic challenges and legislation have also resulted in the loss of thousands of jobs in the country. When faced with rising costs, supply chain issues, and unfavorable laws like increased minimum wages, companies may resort to laying off workers, outsourcing labor, and closing down stores to cut down on operational costs. While increased wages benefit employees, companies struggling with profits will be forced to scale down their workforce. The recent increase in minimum wage in California led to the loss of over 9,000 jobs, and the Congressional Budget Office estimates that raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour could lead to the loss of 1.4 million jobs by 2025. The fallout from these layoff statistics is unsettling. These aren't just numbers, but actual people. Think of fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters struggling to pay bills, pay for college, or take care of their families as they battle with the harsh reality of being unemployed. The wave of layoffs and job losses we are witnessing in America is impacting millions. There is no end in sight. From tech to retail, finance, and manufacturing, every industry in America is feeling the pressure to downsize and adapt. And as we navigate these troubling times, it is vital that you stay informed and prepared. But what do you think? Could the resilient economy of America break even like it's done for so many decades? Or would millions of jobs get lost as feared? In any case, the government, lawmakers, and citizens need to put all hands on deck to salvage the situation, and fast. There is absolutely no time to waste. Don't forget to like and drop a comment below if you enjoyed watching this video, and while you're at it, subscribe and turn on post notifications to remain in the loop. See you in the next video.